Hello, San Diego Rep family. Welcome to our Instagram live conversation with a very special person, someone who just joined the staff of San Diego Rep as the NNPN producer in residence. So, Becca Myers, hello. I see you. I see you that you're here, and all you need to do, actually, I'm going to go ahead and invite you. And there you go. Send request. So let's see here. Yay!
Hi.
Hey, Becca, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you? I'm just gonna try to make the setup work a little bit.
Oh, look at that. Yes, yes. Well, you've clearly figured out your natural lighting. I have a ring light, and it makes me look sunburned. So I'm like, I know this lighting thing's not working for me. So hey, Becca.
Just sitting next to a huge window is the way to.
That's the way to do it. I do have one. I do have one. I should just face it. Well, thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, this is going to be fun. So I just said that you are our new NNPN producer in residence. Congratulations.
Thank you.
There's only like a handful of you guys scattered around the country.
Yeah, there's I think 9 of us in my cohort.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about what that position is and what that means for you.
Well, what it is at the Rat, it's kind of funny because I actually applied right when things were shutting down, or right before things started shutting down. So what was kind of written into the plan and what this was supposed to look like has definitely morphed a little bit over time. So I think that this is a strange year to be an NNPN producer in residence. But essentially it means that I get to be on the rep staff. I get to come to all of the meetings. I get to learn from all of the amazing artists and collaborate with the amazing artistic staff, mostly at the rep, which is really cool. And it also means that I get this really amazing cohort of peers through NNPN all around the country, really everywhere, that I get to kind of add to my network and have fun with. So it's a cool, fun position.
Can you tell us a little bit about who NNPN is?
Yeah, NNPN is the National New Play Network, NNPN. And they essentially are an organization. They have a bunch of events every year. They have a lot of theaters that are part of like the overall national organization, and they bring together a lot of different theaters from around the United States to kind of be part of a larger organization.
So what is your hope that you're going to be able to gain from this experience as a producer in residence? And also, what are you hoping to share with us at the Rep?
Oh, well, I have already gained so much, and I'm not even halfway through my residency. I think that for me, being able to learn, I've gotten a chance to be involved at the Rep for many years, which has just been so inspirational and a phenomenal experience. Everything that I've done there has just, I have had so many people who have like given and given and given to me. And I've been able to learn so much, specifically like from Todd Salovey. And I think that when I first was thinking of applying, Todd kind of brought it up, and I was like, well, I'm not going to get that. You know, like there's no way that they give that to, you know, Dr. Patrice Amon, who, you know, is a doctor, and who, like, this opportunity is so kind of once in a lifetime that I get to be at the Rep and learning from people. And I think in return, I want to provide my help however I can to kind of make things successful at the Rep. And right now that has meant a lot of video editing and like making doing a lot of actually really fun random things like making cooking videos. But I'm also really excited to bring a new play festival to the Rep in May.
Yeah. So I know you just mentioned that you've been involved with the Rep for a long time, but let's actually look at how long you've been a part of the Rep family. I remember seeing you as a very young actor in the 2005 production of A Christmas Carol, directed by Kirsten Brandt. And then you went on to do a lot of theater, just youth theater, and also through, I think, your school. I know that I interacted a lot with you at the Globe when I used to work at the old Globe, and you were a student coming up. So tell us a little bit about your theater life.
Yeah, I think I caught the bug because my older brother, Daniel, who you also know,
yes,
had at some point in his life decided that singing was for him, that he has just this beautiful, up until he was like 17, had this gorgeous voice, soprano voice, and his voice is still beautiful. He's just no longer a soprano. Actually, he is. He wouldn't want me to say that. He can still he just can also sing tenor. But so he started singing, and anyone who knows him knows that he is just the kindest, like, warmest, best person in the world. So as an older brother, he was the kindest, warmest, best brother in the world. And he was singing, and little, 4-year-old me, I would come along to his voice lessons with a book, and I would sit there and listen, and I'd go home in the mirror, and I'd like practice looking at my tongue and making sure that I was doing the same singing things that he was learning in his singing class. So I think I really got bitten by the theater bug as a performer, and actually that Christmas Carol that you were talking about in 2005 or 2006 or whatever was my first professional production, and it was very exciting for me because when I signed my contract, they said, would you be willing to change your appearance, blah, 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 and I cut my hair to about an inch, and I donated it to Locks of Love, and it was like this really exciting. And so then for the next year and a half or 2 years, I had my hair short, which was like really a reminder of this amazing Christmas Carol that I got to be a part of. That was really fun, and I just haven't stopped.
And your family has been involved with the arts in one way or another, right? Your parents have done some artistic performances also.
Yes, my mom only recently was willing to get on stage for the first time. And I don't think she loves it. I think she prefers being behind the scenes. She's like a brilliant visual artist, though. And my dad, when he was little, was the 7th best cellist in Texas, which, if that's not a claim to fame, I don't know what is.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. And then after Danny started doing theater, my dad got involved in theater, and it turns out has a beautiful voice. And so now he does some musical theater as well, mostly alongside me and Danny. Yeah.
But you've chosen pretty much to stay within the theater world as opposed to, say, going into TV and film. So what is it about theater that you love so much?
That's such a good question. I I've always loved, I started acting and singing and all of that stuff. And so I think that I'm very drawn to an audience connection, like having kind of this, it's so ephemeral that you can have it once and then it's never going to be the same again. And I think that you don't find that in the same way in TV and film, which means that there's so many different things that you can do in TV and film that are really cool. But this kind of audience connection and how fleeting it is. I love the feeling of this is happening once and then it's never going to happen the same way again. Like there's no possible way that we can have this same experience. Even audience to audience, they're going to have different experiences, which I think is so interesting. And it's not this, like there's so many other arts that I love to do, but at a certain point you're finished. And with theater, you're never done. You keep editing, you keep doing it. Even if you're done, even if it's ready for an audience, it's still going to be different every night. And I love that. I love that.
One of the things about working at the Rep, as I'm sure you've seen by now, is that there's a pretty diverse group of people who are planning the shows, who are reading scripts. You know, it's a fairly wide sample of the San Diego population. And one of the ways that I think that we've embraced this diversity is also by engaging with a lot of young people like yourself. And I think that's super, super important because first of all, you provide expertise that some of us don't have, like with technology. Let's face it, you mentioned your videos and editing. You're really good at it. But also that I really find that your generation has a very specific kind of, I don't know what to call it other than like maybe boldness, or you're ready to just take on the world, and you're not shy. You're not timid about speaking your mind. And so I'm curious for you, what do you want to see as both a producer, but also really just as a theater lover in American theater, especially given the moment of right now with the pandemic, with social justice and all of those things?
Yeah. So I think we are seeing a change right now in society that is so cool. That is so important, honestly. It's not even cool. It's like important and has been a long time coming, and is never probably going to be enough. But if we can work to get it there, like we can at least start working on that. And I think that specifically talking about racial equality and putting the pandemic aside for a second, because the pandemic is a big thing.
Yeah.
But racial inequality is going to be here once the pandemic has moved along. And I think that right now we're seeing a change in theater of making it more accessible and making it more diverse in a way that is particularly important for theater, because I think that theater is a vital tool that can be used to allow audiences to see into other people's experiences and empathize with other cultures and other human beings. Because ultimately theater is such a human experience, and you are seeing somebody in front of you experiencing things. And so I think that American theater can and should be moving to be more diverse and more inclusive, including folks with disabilities. We're seeing also a rise in having closed captioning in theater, and I think that that's awesome, and I think that work needs to continue.
What would you say to, people, maybe students who are currently in high school, maybe in their undergrad, and they're watching you and they see now you have this this incredible new opportunity through NNPN with the rep, and you get to do some really great things while you're at the rep. What kind of advice would you offer those kids, those young people who want to pursue theater but don't exactly know how to move forward?
I've gotten so lucky. It's hard for me to give advice because my advice is like, find yourself a Todd Salovey. You know what I mean?
But that's real advice. Find a mentor. Find a mentor who will support you. And you know, like you said, someone like Todd who has really shepherded your journey up to this point.
Yeah, I mean, the way I can speak to the way that I kind of got involved with producing, which is that similar to Ali Viterbi, I was in a play 15 years ago, something. I was like 10 years old, and I was in a play that Todd Salovey was directing, Blessing of a Broken Heart, and I don't want to say I was bratty backstage because I don't think that's the right way. I was assertive. I was assertive backstage with my needs and with what I thought should be going on, and I was very polite about it. I don't think I was ever rude. But Todd started making jokes about, you know, you'll direct the tour. You know what I mean? And, you know, I'm the director and you'll direct the tour. And then a tour happened. And he said, okay, you'll direct the movie version. And then in my high school years, Todd and Ali invited me to be part of writing for Women of Valor, which happens every year. And I think that that Todd was always willing to say, okay, here's an opportunity. You know, you're clever and you are really passionate and you really want to be involved. Let's give you a little slice of this to let you be involved. Maybe a little more than you can handle at this point, but we'll see if you rise to the occasion. And then helped me. Really, you said shepherded, but he really did. He really shepherded me along to kind of teach me how to do thing A. And then I did that, and the next year I did it better. And then he said, okay, well, now you've got kind of a handle on writing, so let's talk about producing. Let's talk about the other things that you're interested in. And he's really given me all of these opportunities. So that is my advice to young women. Find yourself a Todd Salovey. And don't just find yourself a Todd Salovey, but also work really hard once you do find that mentor, because if you're a really hard worker, they're going to want to continue working. So
yeah, for sure. Do you remember Roberta Wells Famula at the Red Globe?
Yes.
She was my mentor in so many ways. I owe her so much because you know, she also was able to hold herself up as an example for me. In addition to being a mentor, she kind of showed me what it was to be a woman. You know, who, at the time, she was the only senior staff member who was female, and how to sort of just be a strong advocate for the programs and for the department. And so I hear you. I think having mentors, those mentors, it's such an invaluable part of that experience of really, you know, crafting your journey.
Yeah. I feel like it could be anyone. Anyone can be a mentor.
Yes. But I think there are special people out there too.
Oh, yeah.
So you were an actor, though. You know, you said you've obviously had many acting opportunities. So what in the back of your mind made you open to this other career path? And I'm not saying that you're choosing one over the other, but it seems like you're kind of embracing all of it at this point. But you know, some people, I think, especially I think young people, don't know that they can have more than just the acting career, or that they can pursue producing, because that's not a visible role in the theater. It's not actually a visible role in many things. You know, you don't see that person who's kind of running all the, like, the calendar and the budget and the this and the that behind the scenes. So what in your experience made you think, oh, there's this other thing outside of performing that I can also do?
Yeah. Well, I think first of all that I haven't put performing aside completely.
Right.
I was, before this pandemic, I was still very involved in doing that. It's a little bit harder now that there's not a whole lot of performing going on. But in college, I was confused about what I wanted to do, because I grew up my whole life like, I'm going to be a veterinarian. I knew from the minute I was born, practically, like, I'm going to be a veterinarian. And I went into college thinking, okay, I'm going to study biology and graduate with a degree in biology and be a veterinarian. And I got there and it just wasn't, and I had also done theater my whole life, and it just wasn't what I wanted. But the reason that I had said that, rather than I'm going to be an actor and I'm going to, like, act in all of these great plays and be on Broadway and all of this stuff, is because I think that acting is really scary, for about a million reasons. It's bearing your soul on stage, for one thing, is terrifying. But it also is just a lot of rejection, and it's a lot of no, and it's a lot of doors closing in your face. And I felt at that time, I don't think I still feel this way, but at that time I was like, no, I'm going to need just something that is totally stable and that I will always have. And I was taking theater, so when I switched my major, I switched to a theater arts major, not like an acting major or a writing major or anything. So I studied all of the different aspects of theater, and I decided to produce like an undergrad show, and I ended up really liking it. And so I ended up going on to be the production manager for like the undergraduate theater club on my campus, which was a huge club, and a huge deal. And I really liked it. And so I got kind of a taste of what producing looks like, and what producing on a larger scale of not just producing one show, but producing a season looks like. And I have always been pretty organized, and I've always been kind of like, I like telling people what to do. I like solving the problems that inevitably come up. Like,
oh, yes.
That's the best. I love it when there's a crisis. You know, I don't love it, but I love being able to solve a crisis. Like at the end of the day, you go home and you're like, yeah, I put out a couple fires today. Like, I love that. And so I think that leaving college, I knew that I wanted to be doing some production work of some kind. And Todd and Allie, I told them that I was interested in this, and they let me help produce the Jewish Festival. And that's kind of how I got started producing at the Rep. Again, my mentor.
Yeah, yeah. Speaking of the Jewish Arts Festival, what do we have to look forward to in the near future?
Well, in the near future, so on December 10th, we are releasing a special edition of Women of Valor, which is a show that happens every year, and this year was virtual. And we kind of decided that we didn't need to limit it to just the days of the Jewish Arts Festival. And so we are releasing a special edition. We went back in the vaults and found one of our favorite interviews and buffed it up a little bit and made it a little bit more applicable to today. Allie went back and re-interviewed Julia Ramirez Stone, and there will be a new video of her coming out December 10th.
Awesome.
About that.
And then what about well, you already mentioned the Black Voices reading series that you and I are collaborating on, but there's also maybe we shouldn't mention what's it called, the new Megillah?
The whole Megillah.
The whole Megillah.
Yeah, I'm producing a new play reading series in May for the Jewish Arts Festival. It's called The Whole Megillah, and it's a Jewish reading series. It's going to be awesome. I'm really excited about it.
You are busy.
Yes, I am. I love being busy. And
who knew, right? Like during this time, especially, we thought we were just going to be holed up at home, but for a lot of people that I've talked to, they're busier now than they have ever been.
We're completely redirecting our focus. I feel like we've done this amazing 180 switch of producing live theater now to figuring out how to make live theater, but not live, or live but not theater. And it's like, do we put them to, like, how do we do that? It's trying to figure out and learn new skills, really, which is awesome. Yeah.
Totally. Well, Becca, thank you for joining me today and for sharing a little bit about your life and your work at the Rep. We are thrilled to have you. We're so grateful for your input and your expertise. And I'm really looking forward to all the projects that we're going to get to collaborate with you on. So, yay!
Thank you so much for having me. I'm actually, I'm running to a meeting with Todd after this.
I know. I've been watching the clock a little bit, so I know. All right, Becca. So I will talk to you soon. Thanks so much. Oh, and real quick, just to those who are watching, it's Giving Tuesday. Please consider giving to San Diego Repertory Theater, and you can go to sdrep.org/Giving Tuesday. And we have a ton of other things coming up the rest of today, so please don't miss it. And again, thanks, Becca. We'll talk later. Bye.